Hello, everybody. This is Laura from Healthy Carnivore. So I'm going to give you some background about me. I had to look at my chair. It was doing something funny. Anyway, I am a registered nurse. I have been in the nursing field for over 23 years now. And in 1991, at 313 pounds, dealing with the medical system, not as a nurse, because I was not, but as a patient, stumbled, thank God, to my crappy doctor back then, who basically just wanted to hand me a statin, and I knew better than to listen to that. So thank God for him. I am so thankful that he did that to me at that age because that forced me to go out and to research for myself. And this is back in the old days with the books. This is not online. This was no easy task to do, but I transformed my eating style back then to what is known as keto. It was clean keto. There was no treats. There was none of that. Did very well on that for 26 years. The last 2 years of that, I did get into the keto treats, the Quest bars and the bad things with all the junk in it, maltodextrin, guar gum. I mean, all the things that they do. Um, Made myself very sick, gave myself leaky gut syndrome, all kinds of good things. And then changed over to carnivore in the second month of 2019 after watching Joe Rogan and Dr. Sean Baker. And then after about 3 years of that, I went lion diet and have pretty much stayed lion diet. Once in a while, I'll try to add in something from my past that's still carnivore, still healthy. And so far to date, I have gotten back to where I can do farm fresh eggs, I can do butter, and then I just do ruminant meat, salt, and water. So that to me is what I can do for my best health and for staying healthy and feeling my best. And so to me, I don't care about not getting brownies. I don't care about popcorn. I don't care about Doritos because I'm 54 and I literally jump out of bed at 5 o'clock and go do either my sprints, my push-ups, my lifting weights, whatever it is that I do. And I don't have any pain. I don't have any issues doing that. So as long as that is working for me, that's what I intend to stay with, whatever is working. And we are all different. So there are a lot of people that I work with on my website that are ketovore. I've even worked with some vegetarians that are transitioning into more of like a keto style or ketovore. Um, because we're all different. Some people, my husband can sit out there and chew on radishes all day long. I cannot. I cannot do that. So that's not myself. So I am going to tell everybody that if you want to take notes, this would be a good time to get a notebook out and a handy dandy pen. So anyway, that would be a good time to do that. I'm going to go through real quick and just see who's here, and then I'll get started because it is going to be a little bit longer than probably what I normally do. I think we'll see. I might be able to get through it pretty quick. I love tonight's topic. Hey, Charlie, how are you doing? I miss seeing you every day, darn it. I was like, I need Charlie back. Hey, Brenda, how are you? Hey, Janice. Hey, Wendy, how are you guys doing? Hopefully, your husband is doing a little better. Hey, Beth, how are you? Tara, hello. All right, Charmaine, I love your name. What a beautiful name. I love that. From Alberta. Tara says, I feel like you tailored this one for me. Maybe. Actually, I had somebody ask me some questions probably 6 months ago about what do all these things do. And I was like, they're in my brain. I know it. And so I was like, I'll just put it down on paper. So I typed it all up, tweaked a few things, checked, double checked, making sure that I wasn't speaking out of just what works for me, but what is actually shown to actually work. So I put that in there. So that's what I will do. Let's see. Da-da-da. So Wendy says the worst thing for me trying carnivore is I don't like eggs or meat. Ooh. Well, I will promise you the best thing I did for myself was extended fasting. And I know you probably don't have weight to lose, and you will lose some weight during an extended fast. You will gain back to where you need to be. We're all genetically predispositioned to be a certain amount of weight. Um, But if you fast long enough, even a cold hamburger with cold butter on top of it looks delicious, okay? Um, and just try, and maybe you could do seasonings and see if you can add some seasonings to things. I'm not, I don't like when I didn't do eggs for almost 6 years, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But every once in a while, I would be like, I need that egg yolk. It's like my body was telling me, you need this. So, yeah. So hopefully you can kind of add something to that. Brenda says she's doing good. That is great. Clarence is now, gaining some fat between the bones. Yay! Yay, good for him. Good for him. See, I'm so glad you did not give up and did not listen to the doctors, and let him just go home and that's it. I believe you're in Nova Scotia, if I remember right. That's sad that that is even a thought process that the medical system uses. Um, I won't even say what I think about our medical system because most of you probably already know. So, if you find value in this, please share this out with other people. These are things that people can make themselves. Yes, I do have these, not all of these things, but I do have a lot of these things, and I do have them up on my website, dirt cheap, but you can make them yourselves. Okay. It's very easy to go out there. Um, like Pinterest. I was like, what is the name of that? Pinterest. I follow quite a few herbalists in Pinterest, and learned a lot of stuff from them. I bought an herbal book years ago. Backyard Herbalist, I think is what one of them was called, that just teaches you about the different things that you have right in your backyard a lot of times, unless you spray for weeds. Because a lot of the stuff we spray for weeds, like dandelions, have amazing, amazing benefits. Okay. So, and then if you like this, please hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, you could do that as well. And then you hit the notification bell. Sometimes you get a notification and sometimes you don't. I'm really not sure. I would say I get shadow banned quite often because I speak truth. And as we have seen over the last 5 years, that is not well looked upon. So, okay. So I will get started on tonight's. So, the main things that I wanted to go over because everybody seems to be having immune system issues. So I wanted to go over like some of the herbs that are very good for immune system, herbs that are good for inflammation reduction, pain relief, hormone balance, different, I mean, chronic pain, which is different than regular pain. Muscle relaxant properties, nerve pain, which is different than, there's somatic pain, there's all different types of pain. Um, so yeah, so we'll go over these and I will try not to keep you guys super, super long. Um, okay. So if I start talking too much and you think it's time, you can say in the comments that it's okay. It's okay. So because I may get into this because this is I love this. I love being a nurse, but I absolutely love this. So we're going to start with the first one. My favorite, I did this over the weekend actually, is elderberry. So elderberry tincture, I'm not sure. I don't know about elderberry teas. I've seen that, but I don't know. I know about elderberry tinctures, which you can make yourself. They're antiviral and they are very good for respiratory health. Another one is echinacea. Echinacea, I have taken that in capsule form years ago before COVID came out and would only use that during like flu season, kind of used it in like October to March and then would go off of that. I don't see that there's benefit in staying on it all the time unless you have like somebody that has cancer that's had chemo and stuff like that that's knocked down your own immune system, then it's probably okay to stay on that for a longer period of time. Astragalus root, I cannot take astragalus root. So let me just warn you, not a doctor, I am a nurse. If you have allergies to different types of barks, you would want to test these like on your skin before you ever ingested them. Okay. I cannot take astragalus root. So there are certain things I can do and cannot do. It is an adaptogen that strengthens your immunity and your resilience to catching, different bugs. I used this weekend as well, and that was garlic. So it is a natural antimicrobial and immune booster. So what happened was I live in a farming community that has a elevator where they bring the grain in. All the trucks drive by, all the gravel dust, everything inside the house gets everywhere. And was developing sinus infection, which I used to get 4 to 6 times a year. I have not taken an antibiotic for that in so long. It's not even up on my chart anymore. When I go into my chart portal, can't even see the last time. So, I mean, it's been a long, long time. So I actually, it was really, really bad. I had the headache. I had the whole 9 yards. I was like, wah, 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 had dizziness, everything, and low grade fever. I was just 100 degrees, but that's warm for me. I'm 97 too, is my normal. So I actually have fermented honey with the garlic cloves in it. That the one I used, the bottle I use is probably 5 years old. So it kind of looked like axle grease. I was a little afraid. Um, but I just took one garlic clove out of the honey, put it in my mouth, chewed it up, and swallowed it. It was I don't like garlic. Like, I'm not a garlic fan. Back in the day when I ate regular food and put, things in my like, onions were okay. Not a fan of garlic. So it was very hard for me to do, but I was bad enough that I was like, I am not gonna go on an antibiotic if I can fight it with this. So I did garlic. I did, oregano oil that I make, and black seed oil, and put that on a Q-tip and put that up inside my nose on both sides to get it to, my sinuses. Um, and did that. I put it in this ear because this ear was hurting. And I put that in. I did some oregano oil with some clove bud oil, just cloves, and put that in there for that pain. And my headache was gone. I mean, it literally was 5 minutes and my headache was gone. The sinus pressure was completely gone. Yesterday, we went and shot for, I don't know, an hour and a half at the gun range, and I had no issues. So garlic's really good, so is oregano oil. So another one is the reishi mushroom. I would have to be careful with that. I did not used to do well with mushrooms, so I would have to be very careful. That modulates the immune system and reduces like stress, oxidative stress. So that is a good one for the immune system. Of course, as I said, oregano oil is antibiotic. Elderberry is antiviral. Okay. I personally have believed this for 30 years or more, that you need to have some of that on hand at all times. And as long as you keep it in either a dark container, like my containers, or like this, okay? Just the dark. As long as you keep that in a cool, dark place, they're good for a long, long, long time. I mean, the one that I use, the elderberry I use, is probably 7 years old, and it worked just fine. So, but I'm a big fan of oregano oil, and it is the easiest thing. You can make it yourself, I promise you. Um, so inflammation reduction. Another one of my favorite is turmeric or curcumin. It is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It supports joint and gut health. It can be used orally, like you take the capsule. It can also be used, in fact, is it this one? I don't remember. It might be, oh, my aching joints. But anyway, one of my oils that I do for joints has turmeric in that and cayenne pepper. But that can be used on the outside of the body for like the joint pain and stuff like that as well. It also is very good for people who have decreased blood flow to areas. I had a patient with a wound that was about this big in front of her shin. She had done wound clinic for over 2 years. They never could get it healed. She had purple color to her lower legs, not a lot of swelling, but had that purple discoloration. And I'm like, you have vascular insufficiency. This is not good. Um, and so I felt her out for a week, like she's gonna think I'm nuts if I tell her I'll make her this and just give her a bottle of it. I made that up, and she was like, "Oh, I have essential oils." I was like, "Yes, okay, she's a normal." person that doesn't think I'm completely crazy and started putting that even on the open sore. And I think it was zero 0.3 centimeters deep at the time, which is not very deep, but it just would not heal. And within a very short time, I really can't. It's been last year. I can't remember if it was less than 2 weeks, but very short time. She was like, "Look at this," and she pulled up her pant leg, completely healed, and she uses it twice a week now, and that has helped with her blood flow. Not a doctor, but I'm just saying it worked. Okay, ginger is another one that helps reduce inflammation. It also can help with digestion if you're having trouble with digestion. Um, so I always have ginger root in my freezer. I leave it in there as I need it for something. If I'm making something for patients, or like one of my grandchildren, when she was born, had horrific stomach issues. Just she couldn't nurse. I mean, she had a lot of stuff. Ginger is very good for their stomach. Another one is boswellia, which another name for that is frankincense. It helps with joint inflammation and autoimmune conditions. Frankincense I use in a lot of my products that I make personally. Like somebody reaches out and they're like, I have this, I have that. I put it in there. I didn't put it in like my stuff that I sell online generally to everybody, just because I had several people that when I talked about that, they were like, I'm allergic, I'm allergic. So I was like, eh. So, like, if somebody reaches out to me privately, I make it and I put 1 bottle or 2 bottles up on the site, and then they go buy it that way. Or if they're local, which I have all the time, then I just make it and take it to them, or they come by and pick it up. And I usually show them how to make it themselves. Um, Another one is green tea, because the antioxidants that help reduce systemic inflammation, so taking it in helps with everything. This one, pain relief. Anybody wanna guess? I wanna see if anybody knows this. Just gonna ask. White willow bark, natural pain reliever. Can anybody tell me what over-the-counter medication did our very smart pharmaceutical people steal this recipe from the Indians and make into a pill? Can you tell me the name of that pill? That would be amazing. I hope somebody out there knows. And then I'll come back to that. Yes. Look at Wendy. Boy, that was quick. So yes, that is aspirin. That is absolutely correct. Um, and you know that they can't patent anything that's natural, just like the eye drops they do for dry eye and glaucoma and macular degeneration. I told my eye doctor, I'm like, I put castor oil in my eyes that's organic every night. It's cold press, hexane free, da da da. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, it's in all your eye drops out there. And she's like, I don't think it is. And I'm like, I think you should go read the label. And then she was like, oh, it is in most of the ones that she had anyway. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And she goes, "Well, it has these other ingredients." And I'm like, "Oh, I need ethylene glycol. I need RV. No, I don't think I need, I don't think I need that. I don't think I need antifreeze in my eye drop. Thank you." But I said, "You guys do that." And I said, "Not you as the doctor, but the pharmaceutical company does that because they changed the formula and then they can patent that." So yeah, cat, close cat, but it is aspirin. Yes. Okay, devil's claw. This is used for arthritis and muscle pain. This can work internally or externally. It's going to work better, like if you have multiple locations of inflammation, it's going to work better. I always recommend capsules. I am not a fan of tablets of any of these things because they are super processed, crushed, heated, smashed, I just think the capsule form is usually the best. A lot of the stuff that I use, I get from a brand called Deal, Life Extensions. I can't even remember them all, but that's usually what I do. But it's always capsules that I can, if I can get it. Cordalius works on pain pathways like a mild analgesic. Um, that one works well, but that one is another one that you would take internally. Okay. It's not one, that one's not necessarily going to do this one. The next one that I'm going to list, I do not back this whatsoever. I know it's listed out there and I'll tell you why. So, kratom is the name of it. It can be effective for chronic pain. It says use cautiously. My mother, a few years back, was having a lot of chronic pain due to osteoarthritis, but won't give up the bad food or the drink. Um, what my brother said, "Oh, she could take this and smoke kratom." And I'm like, "First of all, she's got asthma. Should she be smoking anything? First of all." I said, "Second of all, who makes this? Where is this made? Is this something natural? Da da da." And within like 2 weeks, she started having these weird twitches. I went over to see her and I was like, "What in the heck has happened to you?" And it was she was taking the kratom. And so as I read up on it, I was like, "Nah." And there may be some people out there that just absolutely love it and it works great for them. I would not, personally, I would not use them. So, all right, before I go into hormonal balance, let's go in here and let's see. I just want to not miss anybody's comments or questions. Okay, let's see. Yes, Nova Scotia. I thought so. I try to remember as best I can. I have a lot of stuff in my brain. Brenda says, out of the box, I love my toothpaste and my conditioner. Excellent. I love it. The tooth powder is probably one of my most favorite things that I started a long, long time ago. And I tell people if you don't like the powder consistency, you can always mix coconut oil in with that to make it more of a paste consistency. I prefer the powder, but my mom, that she does, and she does it with coconut oil. So I'm glad you like it. I am glad. Kat says, "Sorry, I'm late. I don't have a job yet, so I never know what day or time it is." That's a good problem to have unless you want a job, and then that kind of sucks. Yes, when I'm off like 3 days in a row, I'm like, is it Friday? Is it Saturday? Can I go to the post office and drop my packages off today? And then I get up there and it's like, oh, it's Sunday. So I understand. Hey, Karen, how are you? Kat says, before I was keto, I used to take elderberry syrup during the flu season and I feel it worked. Oh, absolutely. I prefer the tincture, but that's me personally. I prefer that because of the additives, the sugar and stuff like that. I suppose you could probably do that in maybe honey, and that would be something pretty good. I would trust that. But I like the tincture. I put it under my tongue. I just let it sit there for 30 seconds or so and then swallow it down. And I've had it used on little teeny tiny babies, little teeny RSV patients, babies with RSV actually. I have had them reach out. So yeah. Yep. Lori says mushrooms support your immune system. Absolutely. Hi, it's Lorraine. Hello, Lorraine. I've sent stuff to you. I remember your name from me writing it on a package. So Kat says, how does it not burn your nose? Oh, the oregano oil. I think because I take the oregano oil and I put a little bit of olive oil in it and then the black seed oil. And it doesn't burn. Now, I put it under my tongue one day instead of putting it in like my hot drink I do in the morning, and I was like, "Ooh, that was spicy." It was very spicy, but when I put it up in my sinuses, I don't know. My sinuses years ago were roto-rooted. I don't even know what's still up there. So yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Charmaine. Charmaine says, "I swish with oregano oil and coconut oil, but I've never thought of putting it in my nose and your ear." And your ear, um, and a wound. If you've got a wound that is like red, and it looks like it's bacterial, what's it hurt? Try. If you think it, yeah, just it's a good idea. But yeah, it works. I'm not kidding you. And I don't even know what made me do it. I think I have that Xylear or whatever nasal spray that's the xylitol that goes up and then the bacteria goes to it thinking it's an energy source and dies off. I had done that and then I made my own with some silver in it and some normal saline. Who did that burn yesterday? Let me tell you, that was on fire. And then, but years ago, I was doing that, and I thought, well, oregano is antibacterial. If I can get it close to where that's at, that has to work. And of course, I still have these COVID memories of the swab all the way to your brain, nasopharyngeal area. And I was like, oh God. And so the first couple times, I pulled the tip out so the cotton was sticking out and put that up there and then just pressed as I pulled out so it would stay behind and then would just lean back and let it. And it worked. And I thought, at first I was like, maybe it's psychosomatic. I wanted it to work. So it worked, but I've been doing it ever since, and I have never gotten to the point where I had an infection to the point that I needed to go do anything other than this natural. So it's working. So I'm going to stick with it. So oregano oil is the easiest thing in the world to do. So you get organic dried oregano. I have, let me show you what I have. So I don't know if you guys can see. I mean, it's a huge container. Okay. So that is organic oregano, dried oregano. And then what I do is I take a, I don't have one right here by me because they're all in the windowsill percolating. So anyway, I take a pint jar and I put about mm, maybe a third of it, of the oregano, dried oregano. And then I take organic cold press, out of a glass bottle olive oil and fill that up, shake it up, and then make sure to fill it up again because once all the dried stuff sucks it in, you need to add more. And so I just make sure I have that much in. And then I put the lid and ring on there, and you go sit it in a windowsill where it's going to get lots of sun. Every day you go out and you just turn it a few times, put it back in the windowsill, and you do that for 2 weeks. Then you strain out the oregano from that, and it has, infused into the oil, and you bottle it up. I mean, that's it. It is super easy. Okay. I have been making it for ever and ever and ever. So, easiest thing to make in the world. And like I said, I do sell it on my website, but you can make it yourself. Lorraine was asking about comfrey. I actually tried to grow it last year. I was going to also do that. I'm a big fan of comfrey. I'm a big fan of mullein, especially with respiratory issues and sore throats, strep, things like that. But I think comfrey is very, very good if that's what you're saying. It looks like you said comfrin, but I think you mean comfrey. Um, Absolutely, I would. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let me see. I think what would work for sciatic nerve pain? I have it in both sides. Hurts to even try to stand up, let alone walk. Yeah, that is most of the time that is from inflammation in those areas. It can be that your SI joint has actually been sprung. So, our pelvis, especially females, we tend to get this more because the pelvis right here is supposed to be allowed to do this for childbirth. And whether you've had children or not, it's flimsier than a male's. And so that can come like this, it can move like that. I mean, tons of things can happen. And then that shift comes down and it pulls that performance muscle, which is the smallest muscle in your butt, which lays usually right across your sciatic nerve. So normally that's what that is. So there are sciatic stretches you can go out on YouTube and look up. I saved tons of them because I had sciatica when I was 40. And the chiropractor helped me with that. And then I eat very, very anti inflammatory, and that helped. And then the stretches, I did them religiously. And if I start to feel like it's going out, I still do every morning. I do a move that is out there on YouTube for sciatic stretch. And I do that when I'm doing my functional stretching. When I'm done, I get on the floor and I do that one every day. So those are what I would do. So Tara says, can you give the spelling of some of these? Yes. So do you want me to? I can, let's do, elderberry. Echinacea is ECHINACEA. astragalus root. It's just like it sounds. It is astragalus. The reishi mushroom, you're pretty into this stuff. You probably know that one, but it is reishi. Boswellia is Boswellia. White willow claw, all of that. Cordalis is Corydallis. And then kratom is Kratom. All right. Let's see. Hey, Julie, how are you? I love the tooth powder too. I feel like it cleans my teeth better than anything, and I feel like my gums are better too. Yep, my mom's gums are very, she had that, is it called gingivitis, where the gums recede? And that has helped. Yeah. Yes, oregano oil on my psoriasis when it flares and up my nose. It's amazing. I agree. You are absolutely correct. All right. So for hormonal balance, maca root. Okay. So that supports energy and balances hormones, especially in women. Now, some people, depending on how carnivore you are, or maybe you're not, maybe you're keto, carnivore wise, maca has more oxalates than I can handle. So I don't use that one. I have in the past when I was doing keto, I would have some of that, but I don't do that. This one I do. This one I take. It's ashwagandha. So I will spell that. Ashwagandha. It reduces stress, supports thyroid and adrenal health. I have a patient right now that is using that had extreme high cortisol issues. Okay. And she's trying to get that into a better range for her. Vitex, which is chaste tree berry, it balances progesterone and estrogen in women. Saw palmetto supports prostate health and testosterone levels in men. But let me just say, if you do carnivore, your testosterone is going to go off the chart. Charlie can tell you, Dr. Baker can tell you, his dad can tell you. Um, it goes off the charts. Okay. So that's a natural way, is just doing that. Black cohosh, of course, helps with menopause symptoms and estrogen balance. Now, where I see that it doesn't work as well with women is if you've had body parts removed. So if you had like your uterus removed or your ovaries removed, it doesn't work as well, because then all of the hormones that you're trying to make female need to come from the adrenal glands, and they will make some. They don't make super big amounts. Okay. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Michelle, great to catch you live, Laura. Greetings from Cork, Ireland. Yay! Hey, I'm a Russell. My husband's family came from Ireland over here in 1851. So yes, welcome. And I love the green heart. It's about the color of my wedding dress that I wore, actually. I wore Irish green. Let's see. Lorraine says, tomorrow I go see the oral for my vocal cords. Oh, good, good, good. For your vocal cords, and the right one still doesn't move. She thinks of putting some filling or operate me. What is your thought? Um, I would, first of all, how long has it been that it has been paralyzed? And then, are you eating as clean as you possibly can to allow your body to heal? Because I do believe that it's something that can heal up unless they severed the nerve. Um, when you had that done. So that would be stuff that I would need to know if they, and even a severed nerve will try to heal and reattach itself over time. It's just how much time. And another surgery to that area just produces more scar tissue. So it would be something I would think about. Okay. Tara says, my niece come by and she said, thank you. And I shared this extra to her so she can finish watching. Awesome. Well, thank you, Tara. So the next one we're going to do chronic pain. So it's best to use combination of herbs that target inflammation and target nerve pain and muscle and joint pain. If you can mix those together. So anti-inflammatory herbs that help with arthritis, muscle pain, and general inflammation is always going to be turmeric, ginger, and boswellia. So turmeric, the recommended dosage that they say to take is 500 to 1,000 milligrams daily. Take it with black pepper, excuse me, for better absorption. This can be added to teas, things like that to kind of mask that, or you can just take it in the capsule. Ginger, when you're doing that, they work similar to NSAIDs. It says you can drink ginger tea, which is what I had made multiple times. 1 to 2 grams of powdered ginger, or like I just would take the root and I would use like a cheese grater and I would steep that in like a tea ball, and it was fine. And I didn't measure 1 to 2 grams. I just did it and it worked fine. And I'm talking little bitty babies. Boswellia, that one is 300 to 500 milligrams of extract, 2 to 3 times a day is the best way for chronic pain. Um, let's see. Okay, so let's go on to nerve pain and muscle relaxants. So these are going to be really good for like your fibromyalgia, your neuropathy, attention related pain. So St. John's wort supports nerve regeneration. So does zinc. So get your zinc in. Take 300 milligrams 3 times a day, or drink it as a tea. Kava kava, which relaxes muscles and eases tension pain. Use it in a tea or tincture. Do not overuse because it can be harder on the liver. So this is another one. I have seen it. I know people that have used it. I do not. I don't have any of these issues. I have not used this personally with any of my people, my clients, my patients, my family, my nothing. So I have not used it because I don't like what I see with the liver. Okay. Kratom, I already said what I think on that. That is going to be, look at your own risk as to what you want to do with that. It can be effective for pain, but it should be used very cautiously. um, it says the red vein strains are best for the pain relief. I can't tell you what strain color wise my mother's was, because by the time she got it in a big tinfoil packet, it just looked like weed. Okay, let's just be honest. There was no color except for green. I have no idea. I said, "You have that in your car with you?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Good way to get pulled over and go to jail for a while." So herbal preparations, teas like turmeric and ginger tea or white willow bark tree, are really, really good ways of getting some of these in. And of course, like I said, you can do tinctures with boswellia, cordalis, St. John's wort. I do alcohol based tinctures. Um, I choose to use like very high end vodka, and that's how I make my tinctures. Salves and oils, of course, I always use them for like your cayenne pepper, ginger, St. John's wort. You can use it into like your coconut oil that is fractionated, so it stays liquid. Um, I use it with tallow, like my tallow lotions for my eczema and my psoriasis lotion, which looks like mustard inside the container. But I put that in there, the cayenne pepper, stuff like that, and I also do the turmeric in there. All right, let's see. I want to make sure I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see. Last February. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, because I mean, if it's just nerve damage, not nerve severing, usually mad nerves can take 6 months to a year. Severed nerves can take longer, can take up to 18 months. And I would ask them, if you do the surgery, can you give me what is the percentage of people that you have seen this work? And then what other side effects came from surgery to do it? And is it a one and done? Is it you may have to do this 2, 3 times? I would just ask a lot more questions is what I would do. Let's see. Michelle says, would you have any advice for LC19 backs injury, please? I've been trying everything since October 21st. Some are set improvements, but not back to full health. Much appreciated. For one thing, I would absolutely, if you can do lion diet carnivore, that would be the first thing I would make sure. And then I would do Peter McCullough's heavy metal detox. He actually has a protocol. I think you can look him up on YouTube, Peter McCullough, and I don't remember his spelling. I think it's MC and then a big CULLOUGH, I believe. Dr. Peter McCullough. He does have a protocol and he gives it to you. You can just go out there and he gives you the steps. But I would be doing that. I would be doing Sovereign Silver. I would be adding that in a couple, like a thing of it every single day, like a whole dropper. I would be doing Epsom salt soaks as often as you can. Let's see. And I would do everything you can. I would do high vitamin C. I would do zinc. I would do K2D3 to do everything you can to get your immune system back up, pumped up as high as you possibly can. And I just want to say, I'm so sorry that you were injured. I see it so much. It just makes me sick, and furious. So I'm sorry that happened. Lorraine says, I eat carnivore clean most of the time. What do you mean by clean? When I say clean, I mean you don't say, I'm just going to have a salad today. Most people, that's not a big deal. But when you're trying to heal stuff, there are phytonutrients, there are toxins that, I mean, they don't want to be eaten. Okay. And so that is inflammatory to some of us. Some people have no issues with that, but if I'm trying to heal something, when I say clean keto, I really mean eating like fats, um, red meats, beef, deer, lamb, bison, elk, kangaroo, depending where you live, um, red meat, salt, Redmond salt, Celtic salt, Baja Gold, some kind of a mineralized salt and water. I really would be as strict as I possibly could on that to decrease the amount of inflammation. Peter McCullough. Thank you. I did spell it right. Hey, look at me go. Oaktown, thank you very much. Let's see. So Lorraine says, I went on your site, but all the unscented soap shampoo was out. I do think that is, let me look at this one. Because they do have to cure for 4 to 6 weeks. So in 1 week, these are all going to be ready. These are zero scented body soap. And I wouldn't use the body soap for shampoo, but if you have the shampoo bar, you can actually use that. I think I have the shampoo bars over there that I made that are just curing. So, but they'll be back up on site. Every so often, it's like, all of a sudden I had somebody in Alaska who bought like every one of the cedar wood scented body soaps. And I was like, I mean, like 18 bars. And I was like, crap, now I got to make more. Because usually if I get down to like 10, then I'll go ahead and make another batch of whichever one is down there. But I've got like, I don't know, I have a lot of different scented shampoos and then the same with the body soaps. So, and I'm just one person. My husband is no help when it comes to this. He sucks on that. He's a great man, but yeah. Colloidal silver cat. Yep. I that's what I was saying earlier. I do like the colloidal sovereign silver is the one that I use. I don't think I can get to my box of it. Do I have it in here? Oh, I do. All right, let me grab that. So I bought a great big one of these. Sovereign Silver is the one that I have that I use for people. And I bought one. I know it's backwards. I'm so sorry. I'm not smart enough to figure out how to do it differently. Anyway, I bought one of those for each of my kids, for my grandkids. But like I use that in my nasal spray that I've made. Um, yeah, I do. I love it. I think it's very good. You're welcome, Lorraine. And Michelle says, thank you. Followed FLCCC protocol in 21. Yes, I take all of those supplements, eat carnivore. Appreciated. You're very welcome. It wasn't backwards? Oh, well, that's perfect. It looks backwards when I see it on this side of it. So great. Do you have recipe if we would like to try to make some? Actually, if you go out when you're done watching this, I have several videos where I make and I go through all the ingredients and the amounts to make a lot of these products. So I think I have it out there for the body soap and shampoo. In there, you just have to go out to playlist and then it should be there. It'd be under health, I believe. Health items, healthy homemade items. You'll just have to look. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. But yes, I have several out there. Okay, so let's go for a little bit more when it talks about like immune modulating herbs, which just means making it work better. Okay. The goal is to reduce inflammation and regulate the immune system without overstimulating it and making it go on fleek, and supporting gut health and adrenal health. So, like the astragalus strengthens the immune functions and reduces the autoimmune flares. It says avoid while having an active infection, though. So, it says take 500 to 1,000 milligrams daily. The reishi mushroom, they're saying you can take 1 to 3 grams daily in capsules or in tea. I don't know if a tea sounds very good. It's mushrooms, but maybe it's okay. I don't know. Another one that they talk about, which my mom has this plant. She has a licorice plant and licorice root. It supports adrenal function. It reduces inflammation, and you can drink it as a tea or take it in a capsule of 400 to 900 milligrams daily. So yeah, let's see. What could I do to help my grandchild? Eczema. Um, well, Lorraine, for your grandchild who has eczema, they don't necessarily need to believe in keto to do that. I will say 90% of the eczema and psoriasis that I see is dairy related. Um, Otherwise, like I have the eczema psoriasis lotion. I have actually made that directly for a mother who had I think he was 8 or 9 months old, and he had this huge red ring and just mad area all the way around his neck, up into his eyebrows. He was the cutest little redheaded baby. Oh my God, cutest little thing. He looked like a baby lumberjack. He was just adorable. And she actually brought some of her breast milk, and I made her two of her own eczema creams, lotions, and I made that with her own breast milk as well. And it worked so good, so good. And plus, she changed, like, wasn't taking in dairy and stuff like that. And it changed, and she's not keto. But so that would be what I would recommend. I would tell them if you can get rid of dairy, try it for a month. What's it going to hurt? Try to take out dairy for a month. Um, they can always get some of the eczema lotion that I have and try that if they're willing to try it, and see if it helps. I mean, it's helped everybody that I've ever had use it. I've never had somebody say it did absolutely nothing for me. Um, but most of that is coming from the inside out. This helps with what you see, but most of the time it's because you're allergic to something you're taking in. Let's see. Da, da, da. Okay. All right. So let's get specific. So herbs for specific conditions like Hashimoto's. So that is thyroid related autoimmune. So ashwagandha supports the thyroid and adrenal health, 200 to 600 milligrams daily. Bladder rack. So it's bladder WRACK, provides iodine if iodine levels are low. I use iodine drops, the 2%, and I do 9 drops a day. Every person is 100% different on that. Some people do 1 drop of 2%, and that's plenty. Some people do 2 droppers worth a day. You just have to try it out on yourself and see how you feel and get it up higher, and you'll know when you're like, "Ooh, yeah, that's probably too much," and then you can back down and just stay wherever your healthiest. I take this every day due to my asthma, working in healthcare around all the sick people, and that is selenium. It reduces thyroid antibodies, 200 micrograms a day. So I recommend that one. I just working in the field I do, everybody's had COVID again in my area. I didn't get it. Um, and I didn't do the thing. I didn't do the thing. I'm not. And so I try to just keep my immune system up. But selenium, and I also take quercetin, which is like Quecertin, I think, quercetin. I also take that. And I took that during COVID as well, back in the day when it was really bad. Let's see. For lupus and systemic inflammation would be cat's claw, and that would be 500 to 1,000 milligrams daily. Milk thistle supports liver detox. So that's another one I would do. That's 150 to 300 milligrams daily. And then ginger, you could drink as a tea. And like they said, 1 to 2 grams. Like I said, I didn't measure it out. I scraped did the cheese grater to a piece of root and put it in a tea ball, filled up the whole tea ball and steeped it. It worked fine. Um, and all of my grandkids are fine. So adaptic adaptogenic herbs would be like your rhodiola. That is RHODIOLA. That supports energy and reduces fatigue. That's 200 to 600 milligrams daily. Another one, and I know several people who do this one, is that holy basil. Tulsi, Tulsi is another name people call it. It reduces stress-induced inflammation. They drink it as a tea or take it in a capsule form. 300 milligrams a day is what most people do. Ashwagandha is another one that helps with that, and that's the 200 to 600 milligrams a day, and that's in capsule form as well. Let's see. Oh, she's 2 years old. I know, and it is so preventable. It's so fixable. It really is. Psoriasis, get rid of all dairy. Julie, you would know, don't you, girl? Yeah. So Kat says, I remember hearing about quercetin during COVID and I bought some to have on hand, but we never got it. Good for you. Um, yes. And I do think like my little box here that has all my, if the crap hits the fan type things, I have extra quercetin, extra selenium, ashwagandha, silver. I've got all that stuff in there. I think everybody should have a little bit of that on hand. And like I say, I keep it in here. It's always nice and cool in this room, um, and dark. I mean, it's bright just on me because I have the light on it, but normally it's not like that in here. So, yes, quercetin is very good for the immune system and selenium. So, Lorraine says, question, my cousin eats very clean and a keto doctor told her that she messed her thyroid up by taking no, 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 she did not. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't. She did not mess up her thyroid by taking iodine. I would ask him, well, what would have happened to me if I lived on the coast and I was eating all of the shellfish and doing all these things? Would that iodine have also messed up my thyroid? What about the Eskimo? What about the people who live on those places and have eaten that for generations? They have thyroid problems? No, they don't. So that's ignorant. That doctor is ignorant. Even if he is a functional doctor, he's ignorant. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. Okay. So Charmaine's asking about iodine. So what I did was I started with 1 drop of the 2%. I actually bought 5% and was doing that, and it was like, woo, too much. So I had hair loss was one, and then it was almost like I was on speed. Like all of a sudden, I mean, you want to have a little bit of an energy boost. You're like, okay, yeah, yeah, I feel like I'm awake. I'm awake. That's okay. But it was like too much. It was like it made my OCD like, oh, I can go shampoo carpet at 2 in the morning. Too much. And then the hair coming out. Same with vitamin A toxicity. You'll notice that happens too. Um, your body expels it fairly quickly. That's why the thing of these doctors saying, "Oh, it ruins your thyroid." Mm, no. Anyway, so hopefully that answers that question. And then, like I said, what I did was once I had gotten up higher and I started doing that, I stopped for a week, let my body get rid of what I had in there, and then I just went up to like 6 drops. And I was like, okay, that's pretty good, but I feel like that's not quite. I just listened to my body, how it felt like heart rate, just all together. And then I got up to 9 drops and I did that for like, I would do it for a week. Whatever I was at, I did for a week. And then I would add another drop and then a week and then another drop and a week and just kind of waited it out. I got to the 9 drops and it was like perfect. I feel exactly as normal as you can. Like I just felt really good. Everything was working. Thyroid numbers are perfect. Everything came kind of back into balance. Um, and pretty much every single person, if you listen to Dr. Berg and Barry, we're all iodine deficient. And we're not allergic to iodine. You might be allergic to contrast iodine media, but it's the other junk that's added in. It's the providine that has other stuff added into it. You would be dead. If anybody was truly allergic to iodine itself, iodine in its pure form, you would not survive past like an hour of being out of your mother. So that's not true. You're welcome, Lorraine. 5%. So I would just do 1 drop of 5% for a week, see how you feel, and then I would bump it up. But I would not probably go above 2 for quite a while, see how you feel. I would be very careful with that 5%, okay? Let's see. So for hormonal like PCOS and estrogen dominance, spearmint tea can help uh, lower excessive androgens. Okay. And you could drink 1 to 2 cups a day. Spearmint tea also is really good if you have like stomach upset. And then dim, which is, I'm going to try to pronounce this. That's why they call it dim. So it is dinylyl methane. Yeah, uh-huh. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced, but I would just you can look up DIM. You can go out there, look all of these up so that you know how to do it and what to do. But it is not an herb, but it is a multitude of different things they put together that help remove excessive estrogen from the body. And so they recommend 100 to 200 milligrams daily. A lot of people who do bioidentical hormones, if they're estrogen dominant, they take this DIM with them taking like progesterone or testosterone, bioidentical hormone replacement wise. All right, let's talk about them men, okay? We always talk about everybody else, right? Let's see. Yes, Lorraine, I would buy the 2% next time. Now, if you do the 2% and you're like, oh, I can do like, you know, a dropper and a half, then the 5%, you would just want to look at that and make sure you did up to that percent. But I really think the 2% is really great. What about NAC? How much and how often? My NAC, let me go grab that. I'll be right back. Okay. So the company I use is called Totaria, Totaria. Um, the NAC, let me look if they have it in here because it's got a barcode on it. So I'm just going to look up and do it that way because the writing is teeny tiny and I have pretty good eyes, but with the light hitting me, it makes it a little bit okay. So normally, so that is the N-acetylcysteine, just so you know what NAC stands for. So generally, they say 600 to 1200 milligrams per day. And this bottle has that. Okay. Yeah. So that bottle has 600 milligrams in it. Um, it's also a mucolytic, which is the reason I take it because I'm an asthmatic. I don't know even if I didn't take it, if I would have the issue, but being an asthmatic and I don't want to use prescription meds, I use it and I don't have shortness of breath. I can run, I can do sprints, I can be outside. Even around the allergy stuff, I'll get affected here. It does not affect my lungs anymore. Um, oh, oh, that's right. I forgot it could be used for that. Uh-huh. So it was saying that it also has been used in hospital settings for acetaminophen overdose. We also do mucomist, which smells like rotten eggs. Horrible. I promise you that when patients would come in and do Tylenol overdose and they got that mucomist, it was literally a liquid. You had to drink it with a straw or take it by spoon. They never did that again. It was horrific, horrific. So yeah. So anyway, that's a brand I do. All right. So herbs for men's hormonal balance. So again, saw palmetto, the 160 to 320 milligrams a day, which helps the testosterone and the prostate. And then Tongat Alai. So that is Tongkat and then Ali, like Ali. That increases testosterone and energy. It takes 200 to 400 milligrams a day. Ashwagandha also works with them. It boosts their testosterone, reduces stress, improves their endurance, and that is 300 to 600 milligrams daily. And then pine pollen. Not me, but I'm not a guy, but I would never take this because I'm allergic to those kind of trees. So, natural source of bioavailable testosterone can be taken as a powder or tincture. That's good to know. I'm never going to, I would never, no, I would not do that. So anyway, then another one, the last one I'm going to go over is herbs for adrenal fatigue, cortisol. So this is for people who have cortisol issues. So many people have that. So ashwagandha balances cortisol and supports thyroid adrenal function. So taking 300 to 600 milligrams of ashwagandha daily will help with that. And then again, holy basil. The other name for that is Tulsi, Tulsi. That helps lower cortisol and stress induced inflammation at the same time. And you can take that as a tea or you can take it as a capsule, 300 milligrams a day. So that was a lot. This was a lot longer video than I normally do. What time is it? Woo! Way longer than I normally do. Anyway, so um, I hopefully that was great information that you guys can go out there. And I always say, trust but verify. Look up these things. I don't use Google engine because they're liars, but I do use DuckDuckGo. I think there's some other search engines you can use that are not hijacked. I know people say that Google or somebody bought them, but I don't have any issues with anything with them. Okay. So hopefully you all like this. Lorraine says, I take estradiol and progesterone. I tried twice to get off it, but had hot flashes and night sweats. Came back like a vengeance. Do you have a solution? Because I tried what Dr. Bright said, but it didn't. Um, yeah, I'd be wonder, yeah. Is there any way you can email me your last set of hormone lab work that you had done, just so I can take a look at that? and then I can help come up with something. So, excellent info from Kat. Well, thanks. And Tara says, thank you so much. You're very, very welcome. So next week's stuff that I'm going to go over, just to give you a little heads up, is I'm going to go over what is lean mass hyperresponder. We've been hearing a lot about that. So I'm going to go over that in detail, but not quite as much detail as I did with this one. But these are my thing. This is my gig. I'm so happy when I go into a patient's home that's like 80, 90, and you see that they have all these things on their list like turmeric and ashwagandha, and I'm like, yay, I know what we can do to help this person. This is great. And sometimes it's just complimentary stuff that they need with it. So anyway, I appreciate you all for being here. Please share this out if you have somebody that needs this information. As I always say, I am not a doctor. Thank God I am a nurse. And the world needs a lot of advocating nurses. And any nurses out there that doesn't know what advocating means, go look it up, study it, live it, breathe it, do it. So anyway, thank you guys. Lorraine, my email is in my description. Okay. So you can go up to the description and my email's in there. If you could send that to me, I will definitely go over that with you. So as I always say, meet, heat, eat, and repeat. And I will see you guys next Monday. See ya.